Alright, hello there. You've seen a video about the electromagnetic spectrum. Let's talk about it just a little bit more. This part right in here is called what? Visible light, violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, the colors of the rainbow. And why is it called visible light? Because, you know, we're set up to actually perceive those wavelengths. Other things out there can see outside visible light or see something different, but we're kind of locked in on these colors from violet to red. What can I ask you on the test? I can ask you which has the longer wavelength, green or orange. Longer wavelength, that'd be down at that end. That's the long wavelength end, right? Green or orange. Orange has the longer wavelength between blue and yellow. Which one has the higher energy? Blue or yellow, higher energy? Well, it's the higher energy end down at this end. High energy, short wavelength, low energy, long wavelengths. So which has higher energy? Violet or ultraviolet? Ultraviolet. What's the main source of UV radiation in our environment? Of course, it's the sun. It's the sun. And so maybe depending on what you did for Internet Research Assignment number 2, you learned something about sun safety. I personally am paying the penalty for my misspent youth. Bazillions of hours in the sun, and did we ever hear about sunblock and stuff like that back then? Never heard of it. So now I see my dermatologist every year, sometimes in between, for things on my face and other places, but mostly my face. And he zaps me with liquid nitrogen every now and then to, and occasionally cuts something off, all because, hey, I didn't pay much attention to sun safety. Something to think about. But there's another very voluntary source of UV radiation. A lot of people actually pay money for skin damage. Yes, indeed. What's that? Tanning, right? Tanning. I've got 3 biological daughters. They love to tan. They did. They don't do it so much anymore. But a couple of years ago, daughter number 1, who's now over 30, and a nurse practitioner, she told her husband, "Hey, get used to the white me." Why is that? Because she'd had several major chunks of her skin and subsurface layers cut out because of her misspent youth in the tanning salons. And she's gotten a little tired of that. That hurt. That was painful. That was, you know, took a little while to heal up and so forth. And so she said, "Hey, tanning's, I'm done." And so anyway, something to think about. Sun safety. Even more dangerous, much more dangerous than UV radiation, X-rays. You don't want to get X-rays every day. You get X-rays every so often. Your body heals up from the damage and you move on. Gamma rays you can do nothing about. I think those are zipping around from outer space. And all right, let's go to the other side of visible light. Out past red. What's that? Infrared? I think we're talking about heat waves there. And so there's some satellites that somebody spent bazillions of dollars on up there that are observing the Earth in the infrared part of the spectrum. Why is that? Well, part of it's the spy game, you know, various weaponry give off a certain infrared signal. Another is to study vegetation changes on the Earth. And the rainforest gives off a different infrared signal, for example, than a desert or some other thing, some other type of vegetation. And so people can study about the what's happening to the deserts, the rainforest, without actually having to get on the ground, or it might be kind of dangerous for one reason or another. And then out microwaves like microwave ovens, right? And then out radio and TV and so forth. And so some people think that microwave ovens are kind of like X-ray machines. Are they? We are in a much less dangerous part of the spectrum, to say the very least, than X-rays way down here. I did read in the paper a few years back about a news TV station. There's an article about a TV station. Seems as somebody climbed their tower, put a flag up there, and the reason the TV station was particularly concerned is they'd been on all night. And so the person who climbed up and put a flag there had in essence been climbing through a weak microwave oven, and they thought it might feel a little cooked or something. I never read a follow-up on that, so I don't know what happened. But if you're the type of person that climbs TV towers and puts flags up there, you might call them the day before and find out their hours of operation, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, right. Okay, finally, leaves. Why are leaves green? Well, the reason leaves are green, or the reason is related to the reason anything's any color. I'm hit by white light. I got a white light right straight above me coming down. You know, we see orange and black and white and various other colors of my face and so forth. How come when white light's hitting me that only some colors, you see certain colors and not others? If I have a classroom full of people, I usually say, okay, I see a red shirt, a green shirt, a blue shirt, but what wavelengths are they being hit by? All the wavelengths of the rainbow: violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. How come only certain? We only see certain. Well, the pigments in these clothing and our skin and so forth do one of two things. They what? They either absorb the radiation or reflect it, right? Absorb goes in, or reflect. And so, what are the colors we see? We must see the colors that are what? Reflected. What does that have to do with the color of a leaf? Well, leaves appear green. I guess that means that green is, the green wavelengths are what? And so in your book we see somewhere along in here we see kachoing, bouncing off like this, as opposed to these out here. We'll just say, keep it simple and say violet, blue, and orange and red. They are what? Let me get a different color. They are absorbed into the leaf. They don't bounce off. And so those colors are used in the machinery of photosynthesis in ways we just don't have time to study. Feel free to read it in your book at your convenience. And so green and maybe a little bit of the yellow are normally reflected, and violet and blue and orange and red, they are absorbed into the leaf and used in the complex reactions of photosynthesis. So there is our little excursion into the electromagnetic spectrum. Alrighty, bye-bye.